like an exciting program that you have coming up, but you've been doing this for years.
For years,
For
yeah.
years, you know, you've brought on these different conferences and seminars, and you're doing a great job, Dr. Sadler, you know, and I really commend you for those type of things that you do for our community.
Well, I appreciate it. This is actually, we have a Welcome Back celebration quarterly. This is actually our first conference of this kind. I don't know any other occasion where the conference is focused on people who've been incarcerated, youth who are having trouble, and their loved ones. It's for them. And we have great sponsors, the police department, federal probation, the community relations committee, the sheriff's office, the mayor. This is a community effort.
Now, I know that the show is mainly for ex-offenders, but as a family member, why is it so important that they get involved in seminars, conferences like this?
Family members need support too. Family members sometimes, especially, you know, let me put it this way. When all this talk about being tough on crime was just filling the airwaves during the 80s and 90s, and to some extent still now, even though there's a little retreat from that. Some of us drank the Kool-Aid. Okay. You remember, who was it, Jones, you know, tricked all his people into drinking the Kool-Aid, and they committed suicide, and he was this charismatic religious leader, so the expression, you drank the Kool-Aid, means you got tricked. Well, some of us drank the Kool-Aid, and we started to believe that our children were bad, just born bad, and that they deserve what they're getting. The problem is that most of the miscarriages of justice are not against innocent people. The miscarriages of justice are against guilty people. So people are doing time for crimes they didn't serve. So yes, they did something that probably shouldn't be considered criminal in the first place, like having, you know, 3 ounces of meth. This white brother is doing life for having 3 ounces of methamphetamines on him. That makes no sense. That is a human being created in the image of God. So we drank the Kool-Aid and we believed they were getting what they deserve. No, they're not. They're doing, you know, people do life for killing somebody, right? So he's doing time for a crime he didn't commit, if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Correct. So you get into this. I mean, you really, and
I'm serious about this thing.
Correct. And that's a good thing.
Yes.
That shows to the people that ExodusFoundation.org, you know, you're really into helping the individuals in our community.
And look, here's the thing. I want people to understand that the law enforcement, probation, all these men and women who are in criminal justice are not the bad guys necessarily. I mean, we have some knuckleheads, right? But the vast majority are just as concerned about the issues as those of us who are not in law enforcement, right? And so they're working on the inside, doing the best they can with a dirty playbook, right? So we need to give them a new playbook, a restorative justice playbook.
I know your program, and a lot of people wants to get involved. Do you have programs for volunteers?
Yes, we need volunteers. In fact, you were a volunteer at one time. And you did such a wonderful job for us, and I remember you talking about having the Paul Brown show.
Yes, ma'am.
And look at you now.
2008, yes,
look
ma'am.
Look at you now.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, we're so proud of you, Paul.
Thank you.
And thank you for what you do and for having us on here today. That means a lot to us. We need mentors. We need males and females, but 90% of the people we serve are men. And so that means we need more men than women. And we will do cross-gender matches depending upon the needs of the person coming out. For example, one man said, you can't match me with a man because he was raped and assaulted from the time he was 9 and passed around to other men in his community. So he doesn't trust men. So we would match him with a woman. So most of the matches are men, men, women, women, but we will do cross-gender matches for the benefit of the person that we're serving. So if you can make a 1-year commitment, 7 hours a month, you can transform somebody's life. You know, we watch TV, we play golf, we go to sporting events. Meanwhile, there's a slaughter going on in our community. And so we need the whole community to wake up and see what it is and see it for what it is and come on out. And if you can't commit to a year, you know, help with some other aspects of the mission.
Correct. How can someone get in contact with you?
You can reach us at 704-947-9090, extension 103, to do an intake if you need help. And you can get more information too by talking to Sister Keaton at that extension. And we are based, we work out of our home offices, so everything we do is out in the community. So if you're looking for an office, we come meet you where you are.
I know you have a lot of different inspirational stories from some of the clients that you've served. I know there's one individual, Bondell Cook. He received a scholarship.
That's right.
Tell us a little bit about his story and how ExodusFoundation.org has helped him with this growth in life.
So, so our mentoring program is called the Red Sea Crossings Scholarship and Mentoring Program. And we believe that God is going to part the Red Sea again.
Right.
That's why we call it that. And we believe God's going to bring us out of this prison system, which is why we call it ExodusFoundation.org. So Bondell Cook discovered us while he was in prison. He had a sheet of paper, and the sheet of paper had a list of services, and Exodus was one of them. And we always joke and debate this, but he swears out it said he had to wait 2 years after he got out of prison before he could contact us. So he waited 2 years, and that happened to coincide with the point at which he was laid off. And so he had that sheet of paper. He said he thought to himself, I might need these people one day. And so he called us, found out about the Welcome Back celebration. He came, he got a mentor. We matched him with a mentor. He stayed for another year. In fact, he's been in the program, this is going on his 4th or 5th year, and applied for a scholarship to work on a degree in human services. Now, this is a guy that did 16 years for armed robbery, right?
Yes, ma'am.
He came out atypical for most people. He found a job within the first 6 months. 16 years for armed robbery, and now he's on the dean's list at CPCC. So this is the potential if we invest in our brothers and sisters who've been impacted by the criminal justice system. This is the potential when we offer support. And I'm so happy that we have a mayor and a sheriff and a police department that understand the complexity, the complexities of this issue, and are open to working with groups like ours.
What is, in your words, termed structured sentencing?
What do you mean?
I know we have a lot of sentences, whereas the crime, you might get more time for certain, certain crime. Do you think that we should have some type of structured sentencing, whereas if you commit a certain crime, you don't get more time? Some individuals are getting more time for some crimes that another individual, they do the same crime, make less.
It's a mess. The structured sentencing was designed to get rid of inequalities in sentencing, so that really you're on a point system, and if you have this many points and this many prior offenses, then you get this much time. And in the process, judges lost a lot of discretion at the time of sentencing. And so we need, I believe, to restore judicial discretion, and the power that prosecutors have now supersedes the power of judges. So the most powerful person in the courtroom now is the prosecutor, and that's not in the best interest of the prosecutor or the defense or the victim or the offender, because it creates an imbalance.
Correct. Do the poor class individuals, do they receive the same type of, I guess, from the defense attorney, the same type of, when someone goes into court and represents you? Do you feel like they're getting the same type of representation from the defense attorneys as they are getting from a paid attorney?
You know, it's hit or miss. I've heard abuses or negligence, both with private attorneys and public defenders. And then I've heard people express great appreciation for their public defender and, or their private attorney. So it's really about paying attention to what kind of counsel you're getting, whether that counselor, the attorney, is calling you and conferring with you before you go to court, or just or whether some back deals have been made and they just sit you in a room and say, you know, here's the plea, take it or leave it. That's a problem. And that's sent a lot of people to prison, really for crimes they didn't commit as well. And it's because our court system is overloaded.
Correct.
And so, you know, we're draining public education. We have cut back court services and funding for drug court and other very helpful programs. And it's madness. It really is madness. And if the people don't wake up, if the community does not organize and say, let's do this differently, it's going to get worse.
In your opinion, what separates ExodusFoundation.org from the other programs that we have in our community?
Thank you. One thing that we focus on is cultural competency. And just as what that means is one size does not fit all. So sometimes we get some pushback because our mission is to stop the flow of African Americans to prison. We get some pushback, like, you know, why are you only helping African Americans? Are you racist? And well, of course not, we're not racist. You know, I'm an ordained Baptist minister. You know, I'm a preacher of the gospel. I love humanity, right? And just because I love the African American community doesn't mean I don't love the white community just as much. But but you cannot deny that there is a disproportionate impact on people of color. And one size does not fit all. You cannot just throw services at our community and think it's going to be sufficient. And that's what happens. We get the leftovers, we get the scraps, and the programming is not intentional. Well, we're intentional. That's what's different. And when we expand our mission to stop the flow of Americans to prison, watch out.
We're running out of time. Reverend Dr. Madeline Sadler, thank you for coming on the show. And I really want you to come back and educate the audience some more about your program and how it benefits ex-offenders.
Thank you. I'd love to.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching the show. You be encouraged.
Hi, my name is Kareem Paranda with the ExodusFoundation.org. Did you know that there's help for young people and adults with a criminal record? There's help for you as well if that person or child is your loved one. The ExodusFoundation.org would like to invite you, that's right, you, to the Restoration, Redemption, and Reentry Conference held at St. Paul's Baptist Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. This event will take place Saturday, May 3rd, 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. It's free, and lunch is on us, but you must register now. Don't wait. Visit us at www.exodusfoundation.org or by phone at 704-947-909, extension 104. You don't have to struggle alone. We're here to help you. Register today.